we're live.
Episode 3. How was your Christmas, Jay?
Christmas was very good, actually. I had a pretty good time with my family. Got to see some of my family members from far back, so
yeah,
it was fun. What'd you get for Christmas?
Bro, I got Dragon Ball Fusions for 3DS.
For real?
And it's
you like still play 3DS?
Dude, I love 3DS. It's like my favorite handheld system, probably out of all of them. And I got Dragon Ball Fusions, which is like an action adventure Dragon Ball RPG. So far, it's pretty cool.
Right.
And I got this thing called the Slate. Did you see that on Instagram?
I think I might have seen it on your Instagram. Yeah.
It was like, well, no, not on my Instagram. Like the advertisements for it were like, well, I guess Facebook does that thing where it's like it knows what you're looking at.
Oh yeah, because they predict your Google searches and stuff like that. Yeah.
And so I guess my stuff was a lot of drawing stuff, and so the Slate came up, and what it is like it's this flat.
Oh wait, no. I think I know what you're talking about. Is it like you draw on this paper and it pulls up on the computer?
Yeah.
Now I know. Yeah. No, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I got that. My dad hooked me up for Christmas.
That's dope, bro. Yeah. Like, because the thing is, I felt like it was hard because when I've seen your stuff for the Ribbon, the comic that you do, like I feel like it's kind of hard when you don't get the full detail whenever you do it in pen and everything like that, and marker or whatever writing utensil you use on paper. It's hard to transfer the full detail and the color.
Yeah.
Onto when you like take copies of it.
Exactly.
So
and this transfers all the detail. It's interesting because it picks up like all the minute movements and impressions that you do with like a pencil. It has you put a ring on the pencil.
Right. And
I guess I don't want to make up the science behind it, but I'm guessing that it triangulates the position of where the ring is, and that allows it to calculate where you're drawing. I don't know, but it's pretty cool.
I think I see where it is. I mean, I thought it was acted as like a counterweight just to help you write better. I don't know. Because I've seen like with the new tablets you can they kind of like try to appeal to the art majors and the art students, like use our thing with our tablets so you can write it on and stuff like that. Like, with the Windows and all that stuff, and it looks great, and like, but when I saw the Slate, I thought it was like, all right, that is actually bomb.
It's pretty bomb, man. I mean, you can use it on your phone too. So like, you could just like have it set up on your phone if you don't have your laptop around. Like, you can draw on the Slate and it'll show up on your phone.
Right.
You can color everything on there, like, and then it has the video capture thing. So like, it's how like speed painting's like a thing on YouTube where like they'll show like
I seen it. Yeah. It got popular when I saw it on America's Got Talent.
Yeah.
So there's always like some dude coming in with paintbrushes and like a canvas, and they just go speed painting.
That's exactly what this is, man. It's just it's like a speed painting machine, pretty much. But it has like it has artistic value too. But yeah, man, that was like the big thing I got for Christmas, and I was super excited about that. So can't wait to break that in. But yeah, man, overall it was a good holiday. And I actually I got turned on to this show. What's it called? Black Mirrors?
Oh yeah, I heard about that on Netflix.
Black Mirror.
I've saved that on my list because I have so many shows I want to see and movies on Netflix.
Yeah.
But I haven't had the time, and now since break is up.
Well, my brother showed me it last night, and he prefaced it by saying it's kind of like Twilight Zone, and it is, but every episode focuses on technology.
Okay.
So, like, there's one episode where it's like there's this device that allows you to you can pretty much die or go to, like, this digital afterlife and stay there forever. It's like a Sims game.
It's kind of like Limbo.
Yeah, but you could choose to, like, really die and pass over or stay in, like, this Sims game forever. So, like, there's that. There's one that if, like, your loved one dies, you can pretty much have their whole personality in a digital format and implant it into a robot, and then have like that robot pretend to be your loved one. It's like all like stories about technology.
Oh, that kind of like reminds me of the movie Surrogate with Bruce Willis.
I've never seen that.
You never seen that?
No.
Yeah, it's like it's in a world where everybody chooses to live in a surrogate's body. So you go to this place and they hook up your mind and everything and transfer you to like a fictional body.
Oh, really?
And like you can be like some random dude, but you can live out your life like a teen blonde high school cheerleader.
And what are you doing? You're just lying in a bed, like
you're literally lying in bed. It's kind of like it's like how you know how in Inception, like they had to sleep. They kind of put you to sleep. And with this one, I think Bruce Willis wakes up.
Yeah.
From like a younger self of his, and then like things go crazy. It was an alright film. I mean, it wasn't his best film, but
I feel like that theme is very common in movies. Like The Matrix has that a lot too, where it's like you're asleep, but like you download your body into like this digital world.
Right, digital world. You got a Inception. You know, you're asleep, but you have this makeshift dream life.
Yeah,
where it seems real, but it's not.
Yeah,
and you got surrogate and all that stuff.
I wonder why that theme is so appealing to us. Maybe it's a escapism.
I think we always want to escape reality because when it comes to life, we just don't want to deal with like sickness and work and stuff like that.
Yeah, totally. I guess video game addiction is probably the closest real life thing we have to that phenomenon.
Especially with virtual reality that's coming out.
Yeah, well, who knows what that's gonna do? But I feel like a lot of people get addicted to well, maybe not anymore, but. A while ago, World of Warcraft. Yeah, people would just play that. They'd play that
and Skyrim and all this stuff for hours.
Yeah, man.
What's crazy is with the virtual reality thing, it's becoming like a new. It is a fad. I don't want to say a fad. Maybe it's like becoming the new thing.
Yeah.
To remain on this earth, because I was at the mall the other day and with a friend, and we saw this virtual arcade. So like there's a bunch of Xboxes and PlayStations set up, and throughout this arcade, and they all have the Oculus goggles.
Where is this, in Chamonix?
No, this is actually in Oxford.
Okay.
So you go there, and for like an hour and a half, I think it's like $10 or $15.
Yeah.
You can go there for an hour and a half and play video games like virtual reality, like racing, Battlefield and all that stuff. I didn't try it. I was actually in a rush, but I checked it out though. But I got some of their business cards there, so they're pretty cool. It looks really dope.
That stuff makes me sick. I was talking about this at my Christmas Eve party with my cousin. Virtual reality, like in itself, like Oculus Rift, like those goggles, dude. They had this one at Temple that was it was a roller coaster, and you put the goggles on, and then you looked down and you were like sitting in this like cart, and then like it went up the hill and it came down. Like it was a whole simulated roller coaster. Dude, I was sweating. Like I was sweating and I felt sick because my eyes were experiencing the motion, but my body wasn't.
Right. So, that's how, the thing is the way that it works. I'm going to break down the science for you. I always, you ever wonder, like, I don't know if you've experienced, I know I experience a lot. Whenever I read in the car, I get motion sickness.
Dude, I'm the worst.
Yeah.
So I'm the worst.
I always wondered like what triggers that.
Yeah.
And not many people actually experience that. There's actually a certain amount of people living in the world that actually experience motion sickness like that. So I learned that your eyes are telling you that you're not moving because you're reading a paper.
Yeah.
You're reading something and your eyes are telling your brain that you're actually sitting still and you're not doing anything. You're just reading.
Yeah.
But there are motion sensors, like natural motion sensors in your ear that
like your equilibrium.
Yeah, it detects balance and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And your ears are telling your brain, no, you're actually moving in a car.
Oh, snap.
So your brain can't process it. It's like two people talking at once, and that's where you get the headaches.
Oh, man.
So, yeah.
I totally... I'm the one who suffers the most from that. I get what you're saying. I'm the one that suffers the most from that. I always have to sit like in the passenger seat, like in long car rides.
Yeah.
I can't sit in the back. Like I have to have like the
view. So you're moving.
The whole thing, like so that like the corner of my eyes can see like the motion and everything. I'm the worst when it comes to that. I don't know why. I get so sick instantly. Yeah,
man. Any new video games have you been playing since we're on this whole tech talk?
I talked about Final Fantasy 15 last time, but I'm playing The Last Guardian. Did you see that?
I heard about that.
Okay.
The Last Guardian.
Well, I don't want to get too deep into it if you just heard about it, but pretty much it's you ever heard of Shadow of the Colossus or Ico or
Shadow of the Colossus sounds familiar, bro.
Okay, yeah. Well, Jed, this game this is probably a conversation for another time, but pretty much what it is you're this kid and you wake up and you're trapped with this giant griffin. Like this griffin is it's chained to the floor, and pretty much you free it and you make friends with it, and the whole game focuses around like you progressing through like castles and all this like.
So it's like medieval times and stuff like that.
Yeah, but like there's not really a lot of dialogue, and it's just you and this griffin. So like you're riding on its back, and it's huge, and like you're this little kid, and like you can grab onto like its arm, and like it'll jump over stuff. I don't know. To describe it would be really hard, but it's like Final Fantasy in the sense that there's also been like a super long wait for this game too, and it got delayed a bunch of times, and we can play it later. But yeah, that's what I'm playing. What about you? Do you play games anymore?
Yeah, I still play my Xbox One.
What are you playing?
Yeah, right now I just got it the other day. My dad got it for me for Christmas. He got me Watch Dogs 2.
Oh yeah,
because I'm a huge fan of the Watch Dogs series.
That seems like something you'd like.
I played the first one and I absolutely loved it. When I first got my Xbox One, I decided to buy that because I had a deal where I get a new game for free.
Yeah,
and I got that. I decided to get that. There was other games at the time, but this one really appealed to me because I saw the trailer. So I was like, all right, this is new. Ubisoft is doing something really cool when it comes to like hacking and stuff like that. So they bring a game to it. Yeah. And the first one was good. It was based in Chicago. So you play this character who avenges his niece's death. And he has to hack, gangs and corrupt police officers and politicians and stuff like that just to figure out who put the hit on his niece.
Yeah.
Who's like a 7-year-old girl. So that was a really good game. And what's crazy, it kind of falls into the second game, but it doesn't have the same characters.
Okay.
In the game, it talks about a hacker group called DedSec, which is like a big hacker group known in the world.
See, like the main villain.
Kind of like they're kind of more like the anti-hero. They're kind of like the Deadpools.
Okay.
So like they kind of like stand up for the small people, for the 98% basically.
Right.
So the second game, it follows another character who joins DedSec, who actually joins the group. So him and the crew, do missions in San Francisco, the heart of the Silicon Valley, and the tech capital of the world.
Yeah.
So this game has improved so much. I can say that for those who are actually wondering about this game. I'm not going to go into it what has improved, but you got to check it out for yourself. But this game, there's so many more features, so many cool things you can do, and it's a long game. Watch Dogs took me about probably 2 months to finish. So I'm hoping this one takes a good time. What about you said Black Mirror is your new show. Is there a specific show you like the most?
I was gonna piggyback off what you were saying with Watch Dogs because first I was gonna say that game is like sounds right up your alley. I've always like pegged you for kind of like a hacker type or like.
I've always been a tech nerd. You knew that. Like growing up, I've always been the tech junkie. In high school, I was a part of the AV club and stuff like that. So
I mean, I was too.
Yeah, we all were. But technology and stuff like that has really appealed to me, and like what the future can hold.
Yeah, but that game especially, is I feel like you're very much a hacker type, and to piggyback off that game, my brother showed me another show called Mr. Robot.
Oh my, bro! I was just about to say, Mr. Robot is honestly my favorite show on earth.
I'm not gonna lie,
Rami Malek is doing an amazing job.
Is he the main character?
He's the main character. Right.
See, I didn't start from the beginning, and people are probably gonna like rip me apart. But no, honestly, when Alex showed me like the first how deep in the season was that episode I was watching?
It was probably the second episode.
Oh, it's not that. But actually, no, you do miss a lot. You gotta watch every single episode to follow through.
Yeah, there was no context for me, so I was just witnessing his character, and I was like, I don't like him. I think he's a bad actor. But then I started to realize that like he's supposed to be like that. Like he's supposed to be kind of like disenfranchised with reality.
Yeah, like
and because like he's just like
his character is like so messed up to the point where he has he creates a split personality not on himself, where he acts as another person, like an evil hacker, and he's like a good hacker, and the evil hacker side he embodies his father's body, which is really trippy.
That is kind of weird.
And I'm sorry if I ruined that for some people.
No,
you should. At this point, everybody should have seen it. Season 2 has been over now.
Well, I'll put in the description if you don't want Mr. Robot to be spoiled, then don't watch this.
Yeah, so
I haven't got too deep into it, but it grew on me because at first I was like, I don't like this show, and then I watched a little bit of it, and I was like, it's not that bad.
I'm excited though to watch it for season 3. I heard season 3 is going to be pretty cool. They're going to talk about how they're going to give a little bit teaser of how Trump got elected. Stuff like that.
What?
Like, it's a fictional world, but they acknowledge the fact that they're actual living beings. Like Obama, at the time they talked about,
it pays tribute to
yeah,
political climate.
Yeah. to actual like physical climate that we have here in reality.
That's cool. I feel like shows that as long as they're not preachy with their political and social commentary.
No, they're not.
Comes from a place of like entertainment and general.
It really is
information. Then I like that general information.
It really is entertainment purposes.
That's cool, man. I don't know. So far, I dig it. What is that? Is that a Netflix original or Amazon original?
It's actually no. It's what show? It's on TV. It's
Oh, it's on TV.
It's
HBO?
on TV. No, not HBO. Bro, what is it on? Mr. O.
You said it was Amazon.
No,
Amazon Prime.
It's not. It's not an original show. It's on. It's from a. Hold on.
Yeah, look it up.
Mr. Robot. So it's actually from.
They used the font from Sega. I don't know how
they did.
Allowed to do that.
Oh, it's from USA Network. That's why.
Oh, okay.
USA. They do pretty good shows here and there.
USA does some cool stuff. Like Scared Straight. Weren't we talking about that last time?
We did talk about Scared Straight with Anthony. Yeah, we talked about it's I forget what you were saying. Oh yeah, when you asked that would you rather question.
Oh yeah.
With the possibility of somebody committing crime in your body and going, you have to suffer the consequences.
Yeah.
And we're talking about how you'd have your own Scared Straight show.
Yeah.
With Andrewcast.
Yeah, man. Would you rather's are fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
If you have a good one, then it's fun. But sometimes people use would you rather's to make someone say something absurd. You know?
I feel like would you rather's can also be loaded questions in itself, or like you kind of like if you want to interrogate somebody but not like be abrupt about it.
Yeah.
It's like, would you rather do this, do that? It's like, would you rather cheat on me or do this? And it's like, all right, these questions are kind of preloaded.
Yeah,
in a sense, where you're kind of fishing for answers that you want to hear.
You have to have a good one. It's like a good riddle or a good joke. It has to be like well thought out and yeah. But I love those. I was thinking about making that like a segment on our show where I'd be like, all right, it's would you rather time, but I feel like I think that's been done in another podcast. I think Your Mom's House with Tom Segura, that podcast did that. So I don't want to bite off them, but I love would you rather's. What were you about to say? Sorry.
No, since we're kind of like being geeky and nerdy, which is cool, we're in our element.
That's what Andrewcast is about.
There's actually a cool theory. It's about Batman.
Okay.
Where Bruce Wayne's actually a mental patient, and his whole ordeal of being Batman is in his head. Whereas they go into account where Two-Face can be like a bad orderly, where he beats patients but acts nice and like proper in front of doctors. Where Poison Ivy can be seen as a nurse.
Yeah.
If, Bruce Wayne goes crazy a bit, she can administer some anesthetics, and obviously the Riddler could be his therapist, asking him like really thought-provoking questions.
That's interesting. I think that would in itself would make a good DC comic if somebody wanted to do like just
kind of like a spin-off or something like that, like a one-shot.
A one-off where Batman is really the one that's insane, and all the villains are actually trying to help him. Like maybe the Joker is like some guy that's just trying to cheer him up. Or some janitor that's
that's
trying to tell him jokes, and
he's just like, mad.
How dare you tell me jokes while I'm in this island? How dare you? Maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, you probably heard. I'm not sure how up to date you are at the DC universe, but there is a theory that's been proven true that there's more than one Joker. There's actually 3 Jokers.
I've heard about that.
Pretty crazy.
I've heard about that actually, and it's.
Did you hear about that?
There was I've heard about that actually. I did read an article on that, but it's been a while since
this Justice League comic where I'm gonna butcher it maybe, but Batman sits in this thing called like the Mobius chair. I think that's what it's called, and maybe something else. I read this comic a while ago, and the Mobius chair like knows all. So the first thing he does is he asks it a question that only it would know.
Like, who is the Joker?
No, who is the Batman?
Who is the Batman?
And it says Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne, okay.
So since like there's only like 2 other people in the world, well, he's the only one. But like there's
him and Alfred.
Know that, you know what I'm saying? And the Robins.
Obviously.
Maybe it's not full.
Maybe a handful of people only know that, but like not the general public.
So since it answered that correctly, he asked it, what is the true identity of the Joker? And it goes, which one?
Yes, I remember that. I did read that comic.
Yeah, and you find out that there's 3.
There is 3 Jokers, and it's weird because like it kind of reminded me of the Arkham video games, where he was kind of perceived in the last Arkham Knight video game. he was actually one of the Jokers.
Oh, you mean what do you mean? Like he wasn't actually? He was like in. Spoiler for Arkham Knight. Yeah, he's actually like in Batman's head.
Right, because the thing is, he administered his blood into him.
Yeah, I was starting to make like other Jokers.
Yeah, and it started making other Jokers, and through the hospital, and then Bruce Wayne got a hold of it.
Yeah,
and then what's crazy is, at the end of that video game, it's an old video game. You all should have played it by now, but I'm gonna ruin it. I don't really care. But
wait, you got it for Xbox One? Did it come out for Xbox One?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know. I thought it came out for PS1.
No.
All right.
So. No, that's Spider-Man. That's all the Spider-Man games now. But
did you see the trailer for the new Spider-Man game?
I'm upset that it's only for PS4. That's what got me so mad.
I don't know. I always get hyped when I see Spider-Man games, and then a lot of them suck. But I hope
this one looks really good because it pays like a lot of homage to Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and a new guy. What was the new guy's name?
I don't even know.
I forget.
I don't like him.
You don't think so?
We're jumping everywhere with this conversation.
Okay,
no, I don't like his. I don't like his voice. Did you see the new guy that plays Spider-Man?
No.
What's his name? Tom Holland.
The little kid.
Tom Holland. Yeah.
Like young.
I think. So. I actually dig this Spider-Man.
You really do?
I really do, because the thing is, when I've seen some of the animated series and comics, stuff like that, he teams up with Iron Man in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
And in this one, he does. Like, you do see Iron Man in the new movie that's going to come up in the trailer. And I kind of like this guy. I mean, I feel like he's a little too young. I feel like yeah, he's in high school, but I feel like he's like a 12-year-old kid.
Yeah,
like sometimes when I look at him, at first, let me tell you this, I didn't like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man at all.
Really?
I did not at all. I thought
was my favorite.
Spider-Man 2 was okay.
Yeah.
But the first one and the third one I absolutely hated.
Really?
I didn't like it at all. Maybe because I want the pure realism. Okay. Whereas, because I don't know what the director was thinking when he naturally shot web out of his hands.
Oh no.
Like stuff like that, and like Mary Jane he met in high school, not in college. I was like, all right, this is weird.
Yeah.
And then when I saw with Andrew Garfield, like I was a little skeptical because they were making it so quickly, and I was like, all right, this is gonna be a crappy film probably. But I actually liked it because it did follow the comics. The only thing I didn't like about it is they kind of made him like a skater boy.
That's exactly what Alex pointed out. I remember Alex and I went to go see it. I think it was opening night. I forget when we saw the first.
Yeah, I feel like Spider-Man always has to be in there.
I feel like that's too. Like
it's funny because before you jump into that, hold that thought. We were like watching it together, and like Peter Parker like first came into like the frame like on the screen, and I remember I just looked over at Alex and he was shaking his head, and I was like, "Why are you shaking your head?" He's just like, "What is this?" Like, and I feel like
that's an Alex thing. Like, what is this?
That soured like the mood for like. The first half of the movie, but it had some good scenes in it, and I think the second one was really good. Me and my brother, we love the second.
I was bummed to find out after the second film that they announced that Disney bought the rights from Sony for a few films, and then I realized then the whole Andrew Garfield series is done.
Yeah, I thought it was not to like rumor or anything, but I thought like didn't he do something bad and like. No. Didn't he like not okay? So
I don't think so. I
felt like he didn't show up to like some kind of conference or something. And people got whatever. That whole thing, by the way, was just so that Sony could attempt to retain the rights to Spider-Man because Disney was buying. Marvel.
Disney was Disney owned Marvels now.
Well, yeah, no, Disney owns Marvel now. Yeah, but that's why
I think they wanted to hold on to that one icon because like when you think of Marvel, the first thing you think of is honestly Spider-Man.
Well, yeah, he's the probably the most common superhero. Besides Superman.
I think he's the most relatable superhero
for people like for young people.
For young people, because you think it's a kid in high school who's struggling day-to-day battles, and yet he can, through himself, believe in himself and do things that he wants to do.
Totally.
Even if he has supernatural powers, but like when you compare it to like a soldier or like a billionaire. Playboy philanthropist.
Well, it's the big irony of superhero stories, which is the superheroes that we love the most are actually the most human. You know, they're the most like common, right? So, Batman's really not too relatable. Superman definitely isn't relatable at all.
Neither is the Flash or Green Lantern.
Spider-Man's he's a teenager, man. He's socially awkward. He's dealing with growing up and romance and your parents or guardian figures crowding you and trying to tell you what to do. So a lot of those themes relate to people. But what I like most about Spider-Man, this is in general, I mean, we're really going everywhere with this conversation, is that the story never pulls any punches. It always shows the realities of misjudgment and being irresponsible. It doesn't like sugarcoat anything, especially like the later comics. Like when this whole arc, I'm not sure how big you are into the comics, but I was really big into Superior Spider-Man, which is like wildly unpopular on the internet. Because people didn't like the fact that Dr. Octopus like switched bodies with Spider-Man. The whole premise of that arc was like Dr. Octopus realizes that it's actually more difficult to be the hero than it is to be the villain. And it's just like a very introspective look into who Spider-Man was. Right. But yeah, good character.
What's crazy is, I want to jump back on Batman.
Go for it.
What's crazy is, with how do you feel about the new Justice League film coming out?
I haven't seen anything. Is there a trailer?
There is a trailer out. It's been out for a while.
Is it like a teaser? Does it show anything?
No, it's a full trailer.
Ooh.
So it has the full team without Superman.
Okay.
Team meaning Batman, Wonder Woman, Cyborg, and the Flash, and there's also Aquaman. Aquaman looks actually dope.
Really?
It was the dude from Game of Thrones, Jason Momoa. I think that's his name. He's like a Hawaiian dude.
Oh, really?
Really tough, buff guy, really scary looking. So he looks he's Aquaman. At first, when I heard about him, I was like, eh. And then when I saw a teaser poster of him, I was like, oh my gosh, this dude looks perfect for the role.
Okay.
But the thing is though, like I feel like these DC films are very, very dark, like really dark.
Yeah.
Which I don't know what Zack Snyder is doing. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a great director, but I feel like he can kind of brighten it up a bit, add some humor here and there.
Did he direct Man of Steel?
I want to say yes.
Do I know anything?
I think he did Batman vs. Superman. I think he did Man of Steel as well.
I'm so off with superhero movies, but if he did Man of Steel, then that movie, and this is another spoiler, but you should have watched it by now. Superman kills somebody.
Yeah,
I'm like, what the heck, bro?
Which I want to get into, not with Superman, but with Batman. Because when you look into Batman versus Superman, it puts on the premise that Batman is like a war-torn Batman. This is years after dealing with Joker and all his enemies, and you see Jason Todd's uniform kind of destroyed, but he's hung up and it's like graffitied by the Joker. It's like, haha, joke's on you, bats. Which kind of puts out the premise that there could be a Red Hood film maybe in the making. I don't know.
That'd be cool. Red Hood he's pretty ruthless though.
I love how you see Ben Affleck in the Suicide Squad films, because I wasn't sure if it's going to be tied in together.
Dude, to be honest with you, I didn't watch Suicide Squad or Batman vs. Superman.
Really?
Yeah, just say what you got to say then.
I feel like I'm ruining this for you.
No, I'm not going to watch them. We'll get to that later. But I don't.
You just want to.
The last DC superhero movie I really enjoyed was Watchmen, and that wasn't perfect. I liked the director's cut because it was closer to the actual comic book, which is my favorite comic book of all time. But I'm just not into. Like, if you're going to do Batman vs. Superman, just call it Dark Knight Returns or, whatever the Frank Miller comic book titles that you want to incorporate. I don't
See,
know, man.
Ben Affleck, he's a great director. Like, his stuff with, what was it? Argo and stuff like that. Like, they were good films. But I'm really curious on how he's going to do with this Batman film, because he's directing it. And I know him as as an entertainer. He really studies and really gets into the character. So I'm really excited to see what he sees. But kind of going back where you see Batman in the film, using guns and stuff like that. Not so much guns, but on his Batmobile, he fires guns and missiles and stuff like that. So you kind of think in your head, wait, Batman doesn't kill. But then again, it kind of reminds me of Frank Miller, where, at the point of his old age, he realizes that, sparing those lives, what justice does it do if it's going to kill more lives in the end? Yeah,
that's the whole lesson in Dark Knight Returns, the Frank Miller comics with the Dark Knight. I mean, have you ever read those or seen the animated version of it?
I've seen the animated films.
Okay, so
with the Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and 2.
Remember the scene where Joker's running through the amusement park and he's killing everybody.
Yeah,
and Batman just pretty much kills him. You know what I'm saying? And
technically, it's you choose what happens. Some people say he killed him. Some people say he left them for dead.
That's true. Joker kind of kills himself almost.
He kind of
turns his head and just
he turns his head and snaps his own neck. He has a batarang like stuck in his head.
Yeah.
He right in his in the eye.
Yeah. So then, I mean that was like the whole thing was like, you know, is killing this guy actually saving more people in the aggregate? Batman always struggles with like, well, if I do that, then I can't. Then he's right, and that there really is no justice. You know, so it's like.
He's like, if I kill this guy, like I'm no better than him.
Yeah, that's the classic Batman argument. So, but the fact that Superman kills somebody is just so interesting to me.
Which was crazy because this is his. You wouldn't really see that. That's like his first. Because in that film, this is when he started being Superman.
Yeah,
like year one Superman.
Yeah,
kind of sense. So it's like his first actual fight. Well, his first actual engagement of being Superman, he kills somebody, which is crazy if you think about it.
Yeah.
It's not like years later, like 30 years down the road, like he has to make decisions.
Yeah, he just becomes a superhero and then kills like the very last other surviving person from his planet, which is crazy. But I always thought about this, like when I used to watch Justice League Unlimited on Cartoon Network, like Superman is so precautious about saving human lives, but like all those fights happen in the city, and he's just like being knocked through buildings and stuff like that.
Which is funny.
Those people,
which is funny because like the thing is, let me share this with you. Whenever people ask me who is my favorite superhero, like growing up, I loved Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, Wolverine. Really like Hugh Jackman, but honestly, when it comes to common sense and combat, it's always been Goku. It has always been Goku.
Goku's pretty dope. Because
the thing is, if you... And I know this is a really big thing on the internet right now for the past year and a half or so. Mm-hmm. You know, who can win in a fight? Superman or Goku. You know, what was it? Screw Attack always been giving it to Superman. Which I understand that Superman has no limits. But the thing is, Goku always has a habit of breaking limits.
That's true.
It's hard to compare. It's like comparing apples, but they're two different apples.
Yeah.
So it's just like I know Alex makes that argument all the time. He's the one who told me that you know you were the one who said that Superman had no limits, where Goku always break limits. So how are you going to compare them?
Yeah.
So
Screw Attack wraps that whole argument up nicely with the premise that you know Goku draws off a finite source of energy,
right?
Whereas Superman's source of energy is infinite because he's powered by the sun. He's essentially like a solar-powered machine,
right? But I feel like there was two arguments in my head I could have countered with that. Whereas you know, Goku can be really stupid to the point where he lets his opponent get to their full potential and then fight him because he wants to better himself. Mm-hmm. Or he can, you know, be the smart Goku that he is, and find their weakness and exploit it. Like same thing he did with Frieza.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's another thing that Screw Attack touches on too, which is why I have such a high regard. If you're listening to this and you haven't watched Screw Attack with Superman vs. Goku, watch it. It's really cool.
Yeah, both parts. There's 2 parts. They updated for Super Saiyan God.
They acknowledge that that Goku is on the surface dumb, but when it comes to martial arts, he's a genius. And if you missed the last Dragon Ball Super episode, and this is a huge spoiler, so skip like 30 seconds into this or whatever, it's revealed that the guy who actually hired Hit to kill Goku was Goku himself. He hired Hit to kill himself.
Dude, you just ruined it for me too.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because I've been watching clips here and there in Japanese, but like I've been waiting for the English dubbing to come out next month.
Dang, bro.
No, it's cool. Sorry. It's cool, but like
it's a filler arc anyway. It's literally 2 episodes. But the reason why he did that is because he wanted that level of challenge. So he's actually somebody that like likes to fight. So fighting Superman and losing to Superman wouldn't be ideal because he doesn't want to lose. But it'd be ideal in the sense that he's fighting someone more powerful than himself. And I feel like, again, this is touched on in the video, but the internet's like, well, Goku's a better character. The question is not who's a better character.
Who's a better fighter.
Is who would win, based off the fictional powers that are in comic books.
This is true.
People take it so seriously.
But, like, growing up, let's just base it off of cartoons.
Okay.
Not comics, cartoons.
I got it.
So you got the anime version of Dragon Ball Z and then Dragon Ball Super.
Justice League Unlimited.
Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. And without reading any manga or comic books. Because comic books, for Superman, they go up to Prime and beyond. if you look into consideration with watching a Justice League series or Justice League Unlimited, you don't see Superman doing really much like. He doesn't really have much combat skills. He flies, he grabs, he throws them in the air, he punches them, throw a couple lasers, and that's it. Whereas Goku, sometimes he messes with them, and he just fights them off and powers up and shows off his power.
Well, I think Goku has, in the anime and in the manga, but we're going to focus on anime, I guess.
Yeah.
He has a lot of different strategies and techniques that he utilizes, while Superman just relies on his powers, like the ice breath, the laser vision, the superhuman strength, the flight. Whereas Goku uses afterimage and instant transmission and all these tricky things, But what it comes down to in the end is that Superman is just. He's more durable. He has more strength. Like, he can see through the tricks. That's the crazy part. He has X-ray vision and like high speed things look slow motion to him.
That's true.
Like bullets and stuff like that. So like Goku doesn't really have that ability. As fast as he is, he's still he doesn't have any like superhuman perception besides his ability to. Besides his ability to speak telepathically to other people.
Yeah, what
he can still be snuck up on.
What's crazy is I thought about something that kind of relates to both of them. Superman and Goku are pretty similar to the point where they have combat buddies in a sense where Vegeta is kind of like Batman or Superman.
I didn't think about that.
Because the thing is, Superman's kind of like this nice character, stuff like that. He's good, looking good in all people.
Yeah.
And the same thing with Goku. Goku usually spares his opponents unless, he's forced to take them out. Whereas Vegeta and Batman, they're kind of like, well, Batman not so much, but Vegeta's like straight for the kill, and Batman's straight, like, he doesn't trust nobody no matter what. Like, once he meets you, he doesn't trust you until he finds a reason to trust you.
That's really interesting that you say that, because there's more parallels. Like, so
you see that parallel
Batman's parents were killed, and Vegeta's parents are also killed, and they both came from wealth, maybe not royalty, but they both had like
both had status.
Yeah,
both have status. Whereas Superman and Goku, they were sent away to the planet. I mean, both on different terms, but they both grew up basically poor.
Yeah,
he grew up in a farm, Clark, and then Goku grew up with Grandpa Gohan.
Yeah,
and then eventually trained to be a fighter, and then Superman discovers he's a Kryptonian and
that's
has all these powers.
It's part of the reason why they're pit against each other so much is because they are so similar, even in background. But back to Batman and Vegeta, like, both of them are driven by vengeance. In the very beginnings of Dragon Ball Z, Vegeta is hell-bent on, getting revenge. Well, he wants to have a life of combat. That's what he wants from the Dragon Balls. But he wants to avenge himself against Frieza. He wants to be the Super Saiyan because, Frieza destroyed Planet Vegeta.
Right.
And the same thing with Batman. Batman in the beginning, he wants to find Joe Chill. He wants to find the person that killed his parents. And it becomes about avenging them, and that's why he stops crime. So it's weird. Batman and Vegeta are actually kind of similar, now that you say that. And
that's a parallel I saw.
Goku and Superman are very similar.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I always find that to be noteworthy whenever you see parallels in Western comics and Eastern comics, or Western comics and Western cartoons and Eastern cartoons. It just happens a lot. A lot of manga authors are influenced by Disney and a lot of the older, a lot of the older comics here. That's just how it works. But that debate will go on forever, Jeremy.
Yeah.
People will always have questions and things to add, and it just goes on, and new Super Saiyan forms that don't make any sense.
Yeah, like I saw this kind of like this fanfic video made, Superman versus Goku.
It was one of those YouTube animated things.
Yeah, and this guy, he creates Super Saiyan White.
Yeah.
Which was weird to me at first. And then I was looking it up on the internet. I was like, wait, is this a real thing? It's like, is Super Saiyan White a new level? But no. So yeah.
To come full circle, though, to talk about the Justice League movie, because I feel like we talked about that and we sprung into this.
We sprung into a lot of things, but coming back into Justice League, what were you going to say?
If the Justice League movie is going to succeed, it has to be written to me, it has to be written like Justice League Unlimited because that cartoon was so great and the story
it
was so good.
It was It was good because you got to see not just the main characters, but like kind of like the superheroes you don't really talk about.
Yeah,
you know?
and it was kind of mature and it had a lot of these like really great moments that showcased like the characters. Like it showcased like how funny the Flash was and like how just awesome Batman is and you know how Superman just like is levels above everybody. So if they can capture all that's the problem with superhero movies. It's giving all the characters enough screen time and making them all great.
That's true. I mean, Disney does a good job with the Marvel films because they have great writers. They have absolutely great writers. But I feel
Guardians of the Galaxy is a prime example.
I feel like when it comes to DC films, I mean, live action is not good. I mean, they're all right.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the animated films, they're top notch.
I
love it. Every time they announce a new animated film, I wait and
watch those?
Bro, I've seen it. I loved the Killing Joke.
Did you?
I loved The Killing Joke.
I saw it in the theaters. I was a little disappointed.
I was a little like caught off guard when you see, you know, Batgirl and Batman.
Oh, that was
a weird thing to me. I was like, that never happened because the thing is, I mean,
did you read like the Alan Moore's Killing Joke?
No, I didn't read his original comic, but
it's been a while since I read that.
It threw me off because I didn't see that comic. It was one of the few films I decided to see the films and not read the comic. But that threw me off a bit. I was like, "Whoa, what is this?" I was like, "Okay, Bruce."
That opening was interesting, and I won't spoil it for anyone who hasn't watched it. But you should definitely read that comic because Alan Moore, I mean, he's the creator of V for Vendetta, 300, Watchmen, you know, so, and this is a really good story by him. The problem I had with it was the opposite of your perception, which is I read that comic a long time ago when I was in middle school, and it's one of the Batman comics I remember in reference to the most whenever people want to talk about the Joker and the origins of the Joker and you know, just his philosophy in general. I always reference the Killing Joke because I feel like that comic says the most about him. Whether it's canon or not, I really don't know. It's probably not canon. But being with that comic so ingrained into my mind, when I went to go see that movie, I didn't like it because there's a lot of scenes and dialogue that are translated in a way that was different than how I read it and how I interpreted it. Gotcha. Which is a classic dilemma. Like you go see the movie based off the book that you love and you don't like it because it's not how you thought it was and the line isn't delivered the exact way. So though it doesn't necessarily make it a bad movie, it wasn't something I particularly enjoyed. But the animation was good, man. Everything was good. As always, Mark Hamill, he's always great as the Joker. Just amazing. That guy does so many voices for so many different things.
Right. Let's move away from the whole film.
Okay, what you got?
Comics. I actually want to talk about music.
All right, let's talk.
Music. Because I know you and I have very similar tastes.
Oh yeah.
We both like hip hop, EDM, electronica.
Yeah.
And a little bit of rock here and there. Some classical bands that we grew up with.
Definitely.
One person I've been really getting into is Chance the
rapper.
And just hearing his story, actually, how he became an artist and stuff like that, and what he does as an artist is really cool. Well, Chance the Rapper, when I first heard him, was on Childish Gambino's one of his tracks. I was like, all right, this guy's all right. And then he released a few mixtapes, I should say, because he never considered them albums; they were mixtapes. And his one mixtape was considered by Rolling Stones like all-time best hip hop album of that year. And what's unique about Chance the Rapper is all his music is free. He puts it up on SoundCloud. It's free for everybody to listen to. And he's not signed to a label at all. He refuses to sign at a label. Every recording company wants to sign him, but he refuses because he wants to give away his music for free. And he basically just talks about how he wants to show people that you don't need like the big higher management to take credit for yourself and stuff like that. Do what you want to do that makes you happy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What's really cool about him is with that all the money he makes is based on just, like show tickets and merchandise.
Yeah.
He gives his music away for free.
Yeah.
On not so much iTunes but SoundCloud and stuff like that in different places.
Yeah. I admire that. I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
What were you about to say?
Like, what's crazy is that he's so well known that he's he's sold. I don't know if he sold it. I'm pretty sure he's just given it. Like he's given sample tracks to Kanye. If you listen to Kanye's new album Life of Pablo, there a lot of the tracks, some of the tracks are actually made from Chance. I know one of my favorite tracks is Waves by Kanye. Well, technically originally written by Chance, and he gave it to him. And
Really?
yeah, and
that's my favorite song off.
Waves.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Waves is originally written by Chance, and it was one of his songs, but he gave it to Kanye.
That's awesome.
And I love Chance's verse in Ultralight Beam, the first song in that album. That was really good. I really like that song in general.
Is Life of Pablo your favorite Kanye?
No, it's one of them.
Okay.
But my all-time favorite, honestly, is probably Graduation.
Of course.
Graduation's always been my favorite. I mean, I know it's the most overstated thing, but like...
No, I mean, it deserves the praise it gets. But
yeah.
to go back to why you think Chance is so great is this whole notion of independence, which is really popular in the music industry right now, especially with hip-hop, because...
Right.
You know, we live in a very unique time where you're able to do that. Where, as in the past, like, you'd have to have a record label to do all this stuff. But if you just, you can distribute on your own nowadays. That distribution is called the internet. And you can do the same exact thing when it comes to merchandise and shows. And if you get popular enough, people will pay for your stuff. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't Logic, like, independent for the longest time?
Yeah.
Is he still independent?
No, he signed with Def Jam.
Well, he's signed to Def Jam now, but
Yeah.
I know he was independent for a while.
He was.
Macklemore was, or maybe he has his own record label. I don't really like his music or know much about it, but
Macklemore, I mean,
what I'm trying to
yeah.
say is that if you want to make it in the hip hop game nowadays, and you have what it takes, and your product, your music is essentially your product. It's popular enough. You don't need a record label, man. You can stay independent and. People will take care of you, and by people I mean your fans, because that's the internet, dude. Before the internet, that was just a thing. Oh, you're dying out here.
Yeah, my thing is dying
You're
right
trying
now.
to low key motion.
I'm like low key motioning you.
Nah, man, you just tell me like.
Yeah, bro, it's like at 5%. You got it. Yeah, I feel like it's just hearing his story and stuff like that. It's really really inspiring, in a sense. But the thing is, like, for me personally, what I do, I don't do music. What I'm starting with. Because I feel like every kid out there is trying to be the next rap artist, next top rap artist with the SoundCloud and recording their own stuff, which is fine. I mean, I have a buddy of mine. His name is also Drew, and I showed you his stuff, and he's actually really good because he does actually good work.
Yeah,
creates his beats and stuff like that. So he really does take time and pride with it. Where some guys they just record on the fly and they think it's the greatest thing on earth.
Yeah, well,
I was like, unless you're Kanye West, I don't think you're that great.
I think. And this is coming from somebody who raps and has written raps and has done it for a while. I mean, I do it just for fun. And my whole objective is I like to be lyrical and challenge you
mentally.
Not challenge you mentally. That'd be obnoxious of me to say because I'm not the greatest writer in the world. But I like to give you something different, and I like to give you a taste of how I'm feeling and what I'm seeing poetically. I feel like a lot of people have this illusion that because with like this new wave of hip hop, where it's just like the lyrics are really simple and people yell, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, it's
I think Max, not to diss it, because I don't want to sound like I'm dissing anybody, but like there's a brand of hip hop where it's just like the rhymes are really simple and like it's more about trap beats and like the lyrics are really loud.
Because Snoop Dogg actually talked about that.
And people now are under this false impression that it's easy to make a hit. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not even being intricate lyrically. They're just kind of yelling. And yes, there's a market for that, but even that market, you have to do that music right. You have to do that music well. Like Lil Jon, to the untrained ear, is just somebody that's like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's like, just crazy, just acting wild. But there actually is an art and a precise nature to how he executes his musical production. Not anybody can do it, and not anybody can blow up like that. You have to have a unique sound. Fetty Wap is another example. Fetty Wap is somebody who, is simple on the outside, but he has this whole voice and charisma about himself that makes him popular. You have to have, and this is so cliche to say, the it factor if you're trying to make music like that.
Right, Fetty Wap. There's also like Future. Honestly, Peter and I talked about it. As our friend Peter, we talked about how Future created a sound, not so much an art form. in music, in rap, hip hop and rap, but a sound. Like that's how when Future came out, you got artists like just like him trying to get the same beat, like Designer, Migos. You know, you also have artists that kind of bounce off that, like Lil Yachty, Lil Uzi Vert, and like I feel like
this guy loves Lil Uzi Vert now. No,
No, I do.
You do?
Oh,
how do you feel about him? You don't. I don't know.
I mean, I like some of his stuff. You know, I think he has his place in the turn up.
That's the genre of music I call
like
it,
in the turn up, like in the high school playlist. Yeah, you go to a high school party and you hear that.
Alex, man.
No, it's just I feel like with artists like those, I mean, yeah, they have good songs and stuff like that, and some they have a good beat, but like I feel like when it comes to artists like Chance, J. Cole, and you know Nas and all those people who work hard for their stuff and they take years to write it out and methodically put it out at the right time in the right way, I feel like it kind of takes away from it. It kind of distracts the people to listen to it. Like
I don't think it does. I think it's two different genres of music.
You think so?
I think it's very obvious to people that like they're two very different things.
That's true, but
if you listen to Illmatic and then what's the song? What's that Panda song? Is it called Panda?
But Designer, yeah.
That's not good, old man.
Panda.
Yeah, Panda. First, that's like the new Thriller. That's like 2016. I'm dead serious.
It really
is. That's like the new Thriller. Designer's like the new Michael Jackson for some people. But like I'm talking about like just the real hardcore hip hop for hip hop heads and this new turn up genre is what I'm going to call it.
Yeah,
those are completely two different things.
That's true. I mean, but I feel like the reason why I want to say that is because I've seen a lot of memes when J. Cole's album came out.
He's getting trashing. I talked about this in the first podcast.
In the first podcast, but I think it's those people that listen to the turn up genre.
Yeah, they
can't really listen to J. Cole and like all those artists like that because I don't think they just want the quick beats and the quick lyrics. Maybe. Whereas people who listen to J. Cole want to actually kind of like when I listen to J. Cole, I don't like try to turn up. I actually sit down and relax and like let my mind like numb out.
Yeah, and
just listen to the lyrics.
Totally.
And like I think you have to have a certain type of feel and I don't want to say IQ, but I say a certain type of taste to it.
I understand. I mean, for me, I enjoy both.
Right.
I like. What does that say?
This is 8 minutes.
Oh, okay, we're good. I was distracted. Sorry.
Cool.
I'm like my favorite rapper is A$AP Rock, not A$AP Rocky.
Yeah, A$AP Rock. Yeah.
My second favorite rapper is MF Doom, and I listen to them religiously all the time. But at the same time, I enjoy Ace Hood, and I enjoy, a lot of the stuff that's playing now that's less lyrical. I think you can be a consumer of both and enjoy both. There's just different environments for each, and everyone has their own preferences. But I'd say that when you're talking about skilled rappers, you can't get it twisted. You can't get it confused. There's a lot of people who are really, really on another level, and then there's people that are just popular. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, I think that I don't want to say it's underground. It's more like a different sub-genre. Yeah. Because like, when it comes to like popular names like Designer, Future, Drake, J. Cole, Lil Uzi, Migos, they have their platform and their crowd that they appeal to.
Yeah.
But for those who are seeking a much more different taste and much more refined taste, they would go to like A$AP Rock and stuff like that.
Just like I was telling Rob in the first podcast, some people listen to hip hop just for beats.
Yeah.
And that's cool. And some people listen to it just for lyrics. I'm a lyrics guy.
Yeah.
I always will be. I mean, that's why I write. I don't produce. I like writing raps. I like rapping in general. I think it's fun.
Yeah.
So I'm a huge lyrics guy, man. But a lot of people like beats. And, that's cool. And that's pretty much what's going on. I don't think hip hop is dead. I don't want to say anything like that. It's just
changing.
Well, there's different types of it now. And
because if you compare from 90s to early 2000s till now, I mean, things change. You have a lot of different artists, a lot of different styles.
You can't complain though, because again, coming back to living in 2016, soon to be 2017.
Like I'm not hating them. I listen to all of them. Don't get me wrong.
Well, that's what I'm getting into. Is you have the internet, which is a constant source of like people are creating old style sounding stuff, and people are constantly creating new style sounding stuff. And you live in an age where you can pick and listen to whatever you want with Spotify. So you don't really ever have to be subject to like listening to new stuff and be like, I want the old stuff. You have a computer in front of you, put the old stuff on.
Yeah,
So I don't understand why people complain. You know, in this day and age, you can literally pick almost all the videos and music and pictures that come your way. So the people who complain, I don't sympathize with you, man. But I can understand where some people are coming from. And again, some of these rappers that make like very simple sounding stuff, like they're pretty skilled. Like Drake, man, he's a good rapper. Drake is a pretty good rapper, man.
Drake is really good.
He's pretty good.
I like him.
He's pretty good, man. That's such a deep conversation. But you'd say that Chance is your favorite rapper of all time?
Oh, that's a.
I'm sorry, that was really loaded.
That's a pretty loaded question. He's definitely in my top 5.
Okay.
If I were to name my top 5, I can give you no particular order because they can flip flop it depending on what time of day, how am I feeling. You know, there is Chance, there is Gambino, there is NF. I don't know if you heard of him. NF. He's a good rapper. You should listen to him sometime.
Check it
He's
out.
a really good dude. There is, I want to say Kanye, but there's times where he jumps off my playlist and jumps on my playlist. So I'm going to leave him there indefinitely. And then, what was the other one? I had him in my head. J. Cole, there we go.
J. Cole.
I really do like his stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's a good top 5.
Yeah.
Alex, is Childish your favorite rapper?
I don't know, honestly.
I actually became a fan of him because of Community.
Everything he does turns to gold. I'm sorry.
He's the epitome of a creative entrepreneur.
Yeah.
He's dabbling into everything: music, film, art, whatever, film, TV.
I forget what his comedy sketch group was called on YouTube. But those videos to this day make me laugh.
For those who are actually listening,
did you ever watch those?
What's up?
His online sketches.
Not his online sketches. I've seen his comedy shows.
Oh my goodness, they're so funny.
I saw his special on Netflix and then his Comedy Central special.
Yeah.
So go on Netflix one time and check out Weirdo. Yeah. Weirdo by Donald Glover.
Yeah.
It's really dope. This is when he was at Community at the time, so this was years ago. This was when he was less mature. Now he's much more mature. But yeah.
I never really watched Community, but
yeah, I
saw some weird clips from it.
No, Community. Honestly, Community is one of my favorite shows. It's one of the few shows I can watch over and over again, the entire series, and never get bored of it.
Yeah, there's some magical shows that are like that for me too. The Office is one of them. And
Office is good.
I usually around Christmas time, I watch all the Office Christmas episodes, but I didn't do it this time. And all the Fresh Prince Christmas episodes.
Fresh Prince is another show I can watch. You know what? Another show. It's very, very underrated. The George Lopez Show.
You like that?
That was a good show.
That's all. I think it's funny. I could never really get into it. Maybe because I didn't grow up with Nick at Night. We never had cable here. So
I had cable growing up, so it's just we had Nick at Night and stuff like that.
But people love that show. People love that. And Full House and Friends.
I don't like the Full House on Netflix. It's overwritten, overdone.
You mean overrated?
Yeah. It's just not good. It's not good at all. I'm sorry.
You're gonna get people mad. I wasn't even talking about that.
Who am I getting mad?
Like such a popular show.
Like 50-some-odd-year-old women who watched it when they were 30.
People in our generation love that show. Yeah. They will fiercely defend Friends.
No, Friends I will love. I love Friends. Pivot is my favorite thing. That if you watch Friends, if you yell out Pivot, you're gonna have me on the floor dying. It's kind of like you probably don't understand it, but
I don't.
Friends people will understand it.
I've never watched all the way through. Looks like we're coming to a close here. We talked about a lot of stuff in random order, so
which is fine.
We'll see how this podcast goes. But I want you to really quick just plug the stuff you're doing with Joseph Media House, even though it's not coming out for a while.
Yeah,
just let people know.
So Joseph Media House, the way that it came out was. I was like 15 at the time, and I was doing a lot of graphic designs in high school. I started getting into graphic designs, and it really interested me. This is when I really picked up technology and joined the AV Club and stuff like that. And for all the graphic designs I made, I wanted a unique watermark, so people won't copyright and stuff like that. And I didn't want to put my name. I wanted something unique. Mm-hmm. And I was messing around one night, and the phrase Joseph Media House kind of like rolled off my tongue a bit, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. So I used that just as a watermark name for all my work, and then I hatched the idea of becoming a freelance graphic designer under the name Joseph Media House, like my own company and stuff like that. And I did that for a time being. I freelanced for a little bit here and there for people and stuff like that. But I wanted to, I didn't want to go to people. I wanted them to come to me. So, and then over the years, I developed photography and film and stuff like that. So I've been doing that a lot, and production and stuff like that, film production. So I decided to make it a visual arts company to the point where you can hire us and use us as a platform for your business or any personal needs and stuff like that. So film, photography, and graphic design. Anything to boost your, personal work or even your business and stuff like that. So that's something that's really cool. I really want to thank you for actually helping me, kind of pushing me off the edge, because I had years of portfolio work. I just didn't put it out there, and you were like, "Hey, I'm starting Andrewcast," and it's like, "What about the graphic design stuff you do? You should put it out there." And I was like, "Yeah, maybe." And then that's why josephmediahouse.com is going to be launching February of next year, February 2017. So just stay tuned for that. You can follow us actually on Instagram at Joseph Media House. Also on Twitter, we have it on JMH Productions. So that's really cool. And yeah, that's pretty much what we do right now. I'm partnered with Andrewcast, which is dope. I love working with you, man. It's truly an honor and a blessing to be here.
Nah, man. I mean, just to reiterate and wrap up, like you're thanking me for pushing you, but you're the one that's making a leap of faith. Like, you're the one that's making this happen. And this whole Andrewcast thing, this website, all this stuff, all the graphic stuff wouldn't be possible without you, man. And you make this show run. For the people who don't know, like, the guy who is assisting and bringing people food and making sure everything is cool is Jay. And although we have a lot of technical difficulties on the show, bear with us. We'll get a lot of them fixed.
Yeah.
Jay is the one that's hanging in there and calling people and troubleshooting and doing all that stuff. So I really have you to thank, man. I'm the one who's honored. I'm the one who's humbled. But yeah, Joseph Media House, check this guy out. Again, hit his Twitter up, JMH, and hit his Instagram up. If you follow the Andrewcast Twitter, the Andrewcast Facebook, he's all over that. And so just hit this man up. Jay, thank you for being on the podcast.
No problem, bro.
As always, we'll see you guys next Tuesday.
All right, later, man.
We out.